Welcome to our season finale of Monday Morning Express.
Yeah, you know, Dan, it just seemed like a few months ago that we were here thinking about a show. We named it Monday Morning Express and put it up on the air, and even to our surprise, it's done quite well, and we thank you for that.
Yeah, we are very thankful for the success. And as we promised you last week, we have a great show lined up for you. We're going to be interviewing Dan Navarre of Rasin Models.
And we're looking forward to talking with Mr. Brian Marsh of Overland Models. Nice to have him on the show today.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that interview myself. We also have this kind of weird ad from the 1980s about brass model trains I think you'll get a big kick out of. And we have a contest we're going to talk about. And something that's really cool today is we have a number of surprise guest appearances. So I know you'll enjoy it. Let's turn the lights on and get to work.
This morning, we'd like to introduce Mr. Dan Navarre of Rasin Models.
Hey, thanks for joining us this morning, Dan.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for inviting me on the show.
Glad to have you. Hey, tell us a little bit why you chose to get into producing S-scale brass models.
Well, I guess it's kind of an interesting story. We formed Rasin Models in 1987, and it was formed by myself and a friend of mine, Jim Kondraka. So we created the business to build more things in S-scale. Jim and I are both S-scalers, been longtime S-scalers, and we felt there just wasn't enough equipment in S-scale for the scalers. So we decided to form the business, and we started small. Our first project imported in 1988 was an air slide covered hopper in 2 versions. And so from there on, we just kind of built some momentum, and here we are today.
And you've done really a lot of projects through the years, right? Quite a few.
I think actually being on the show caused me to do a little bit of homework, and I counted up about 35 projects over the last 30 years.
Impressive.
In all S-scale projects. A few of them we did in high rail. A few of them we did with AC power, just to AC and high rail to help some of the other folks in the hobby, S-gauge hobby. But also we're proud of working with the builders to be able to do a bunch of different versions. So probably those 35 projects had about 140 versions to them.
Very cool. Well, hey, Dan, it seems you at Rasin have had a close relationship now with Overland Models throughout the years. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Back in the 80s, the National Association of S-gaugers created some new standards, wheel and track standards. And in order for the hobby, I guess, S-gauge hobby, to become familiar and trust those new standards, the National Association of S-gaugers wanted to build a few brass cars. So they worked with Overland Models to build a few cars with those new standards to be able to promote it. Jim, my original business partner, was on the NASG board, so he worked with Tom Marsh at Overland to create those cars. So there was already a relationship there. So we decided to, because we really didn't know anything about importing brass models at the time, to get some experience working with Tom. Tom worked with us. He became really good friends together, and we worked with Tom till about 1990 or 91, and having Ajin build our products and importing them. We actually imported them through Tom. So a lot of the labels you saw, the original boxes, were still in green boxes and had the little Overland exclusive, but they were Rasin Models projects. Then about 1990, we got introduced by Tom to Seiho Zhang of Burim Precision. And we built our first model, a nickel plate and Paramarquette Berkshire, with Burim. And that kind of led us to just kind of moving off on our own. And we began importing directly with Boo Rim. And I'd say for the last 17 years, Boo Rim has been our builder.
Nice. Well, you picked a good one. We're big
Well,
fans of...
Seho's great.
Yeah,
he is.
absolutely. It's kind of neat, too, as we've done the history of brass, we've seen how some of the importers would help each other. And so it's kind of nice to see that cooperation you had with Tom Marsh and Overland.
Well, he taught us a lot about the business and about how to import and how to get the quality of the projects high as you can get them. And so a lot of tricks we learned there.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Hey,
yeah,
so tell us,
yeah.
Dan, tell us a little bit about your current project you're working on.
Well, right now I'm working on the early Berkshire project, which was the basis is the A1 Lima demonstrator. But what's kind of exciting about S-Scale and working with Seho at Boo Rim is that he understands the quantity issues that we've got to deal with in S-Scale. It's a very active scale, but it's a little smaller than the other scales, so the quantity issues are important to us. So we're going to build the early Berkshires in 5 road names and 9 different versions. And the Boston and Albany, the Boston and Maine, Southern Pacific, Santa Fe, and new in this, and I'm not sure, I think, Dan, you and I chatted about this a little bit, that I'm not sure this other version was ever built in any scale, but maybe, the Illinois Central 8,000 series rebuilds. So the Lima demonstrator was actually purchased by Illinois Central, and it was numbered in the 7,000 series. In the 40s, the Illinois Central, the Paducah shops rebuilt all these locomotives, took the Alesco feedwater heater off and changed them a little bit. And so we're building those. And so we're really excited about that model itself because it's pretty new. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, I was thinking when we were chatting that like, even a guy not into S-Scale, it'd make a neat display piece on their shelf somewhere. So yeah. That's a great sounding project. Hey, thanks for joining us on the show. We hope to see you at the 2017 Brass Expo, and some of the attendees would get a chance to meet you and see some of your projects there, Dan.
Well, we look forward to it, and thanks for having me on the show today.
Hey, and we'll get you a mug out to you in the mail, all right?
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
All right,
Thanks,
Dan.
Keep up the good work. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, my name's Lee Marsh from Lee Marsh Model Company, and I've been really enjoying Monday Morning Express, and really looking forward to Season 2 to find out more about new products from other companies and the history of brass and everything else that's going on in the world of brass.
Today for the history of brass model trains, I'm going to be showing you something and asking a question to our audience to see if we can get some more information about it. Something we've talked about a lot and a lot of the people have brought up is trying to advertise brass model trains outside the model railroad industry. What I've dug up here is this ad that originally ran in a magazine called Inquiry, which was a political magazine that apparently, from my research, ran from the late 70s through the mid-1980s. And what is advertised here on what appears to be maybe even the back page is an ad for brass model trains. Now the company is called SGD Corporation. And it's interesting, they talk about the models, they don't even give the wheel configurations, they do give the prices, and they talk about how these are really interesting collectibles. They talk about how this faithful reproduction of the original locomotives includes movable parts, meticulously executed by hand. The use of brass highlights the exquisitely detailed workmanship and enhances the addition's value as an investment. And it goes on to talking about how it's an investment. They came with some sort of display case here. And it's interesting, the models chosen, a couple narrow gauge models, a New York Central and Union Pacific piece. So I don't quite know who this was. I don't know if it was an importer that put something out under a different name. So if you have any information of this, please send us an email to the email address on your screen, and then we will talk about it in Season 2.
I want to thank you for the opportunity for being on Season 1. Look forward to Season 2. And there's a reason I look forward to season 2, and of course the Brass Expo. I know last year at the Brass Expo I had brought a project that if I didn't get enough reservations, I was going to cancel it. Well, that project, the Rio Grande Zephyr, is in production right now. Next month, Dave and I are taking all of the plans over to our builder in Korea, and so it is going into production. But where we stand right now, when I say we're taking the plans over, that means it's scheduled for 2018. So it's on track to be manufactured, and I thank you for the opportunity of presenting it to the public, which really made it happen. So thank you again. Secondly, I would say this season I finally had an opportunity to watch all of the segments, and I think that it's given me more enlightenment as far as I know now. Us as importers have always been a little tight-knit group, and we've known one another and worked together. But it's kind of fun seeing us all together. But what has happened is it also expanded us, where we're really cooperating with one another. And I think that's a benefit of this program. It's gotten us, the importers, together, and we're now working together, helping each other. I know right now I'm working with Mogi at Prescion Scale on Santa Fe 3751. We're announcing doing the Santa Fe Appreciation Special of 1992. I want to do the locomotives. Mogi called me up and says, hey, I'm in the planning stage of doing those right now. I said, here, fine, I'll send you my data that I have. You go ahead and let's work together. So that's because of you guys, so thank you. And thank you for allowing us to have this great audience that we've been able to reach out to.
In this week's project updates, Union Terminal Imports tells us that Seiho Jang of Booth and Precision says the final increment of the Southern Pacific E units will be shipped to the U.S. in 3 weeks. This includes the Bloody Nose, Black Widow, and Halloween schemes. Following that, the Southern Pacific PA units remain on schedule for shipment to the U.S. this summer. The North Bank line tells us that the Great Northern 01 project is still set for delivery in May. Just a few reservations are left available, so make sure to get them in. And Division Point should be receiving the Kraus Maffei project any day now, and delivery to the dealers is very soon. We only have one version left available for reservation, and that is in the Bloody Nose scheme. From the coach yard, we are told that the Southern Pacific 2882 project has now arrived, and they look really good, as you can see from some of these photos, courtesy of Mr. Ken Johnson. Fred and the guys are testing them and shipping them out to dealers this week. Prescion Scale's announcement of the Frisco 1500 series is gaining momentum. Mark tells us that this is a really good-looking project for them and that reservations are still open. Also, the final assembly of the O-Scale C&O H7 project is taking place, and their arrival is just around the corner. Now, we wanted to let you know that as we end Season 1 of MME, we will still be alert to produce and bring to you a special edition of the show whenever we have an announcement or project update from the importers that we feel needs to be mentioned. So over the summer, we look forward to those special episodes. Also, starting today, and for 1 week only, we're having our spring sale. Thousands of items are being listed at special reduced rates. So check out our website at brasstrains.com and click on the Current Specials tab to see all the deals.
This is Mark Mogensen from PSC, and once again, we're watching the Monday Morning Express, and I really think that it was just a innovative way to get our product out to the market and to let the importers have a chance to speak and reach the end customer. And we really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed watching all the episodes. It was real fun. Thanks.
We're very happy to have with us today the current owner of one of the most prolific model brass importers of all time, Mr. Brian Marsh of Overland Models.
Yeah, hey, thanks for joining us this morning, Brian. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dan and Roland. Good to see both of you.
Hey, and Brian, you know, as our viewers are well aware, some of the hottest things, the most popular things we get through our shop are these late-run, amazing Overland models. I mean, if it's rolling stock, passenger cars, the diesel locos like we have here, many of these you had a hand in, or you were under your direct oversight. So how does it feel to see like the increase in value and the desire among collectors for some of these pieces?
Yeah, it's certainly exciting. I'm really happy that there's been real longevity to it and value, you know, for the customers, with everything that's in the market today, from plastic. There's an amazing amount of plastic that's out there, and you know, with the brass, it's still holding the value. It's still holding that it has that feel. It has that extra panache and look that a brass model, that a plastic model can't have. And you know, they're getting really great. The plastic models are great, but a brass model, the way that the paint feels on it, the way that it touches, and all those appearance things that we can do in brass, you know, just really make it keep it really handsome, I think, you know, and really give the muscle of the locomotive. It's great. I mean, it allows us to share all the details and the passion for what we, you know, my dad ingrained in me, and then I went on as far as the research and trying to push the builders and stuff in Korea to have as much detail as possible to really bring the models to life. You know, that was really what we wanted to have, is that people, when they opened the box, they really felt like it was a miniature version of reality.
Yeah. And hey, Brian, speaking of the blue boxes here, now it says built to inspire. Who inspired these? Got to give a shout out.
My lovely wife Missy was a big force behind the blue box and the built to inspire and the logo. The green box was a long. That was Dad's favorite color.
Mm-hmm.
It was green everywhere, green carpet, green this, green that, and Missy really felt like when she came to work for us that it was the look and everything didn't always match the level of quality that we felt that the models were, and that we wanted customers, when they bought the models, that not only should they have a really nice model, but the box and the packaging and the website and all those things should really meld in together, which, you know, is good.
Well, we really appreciate
that. Is absolutely.
Yeah,
it works.
Nice
it
touch.
Works.
Nice touch.
I get excited when I see green boxes because I know they're Overland, but these really are a very elegant design.
Yeah.
So
hey,
you.
Brian, I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who knows you that you take a lot of pride in making sure that anything Overland produces is of the highest quality. And one of the things we've always appreciated is that you've tried to have excellent marketing materials. Tell us a little bit about how you feel brass model trains should be marketed.
Yeah, I mean, we really pushed hard, you know, all the way back. I mean, when Dad started the business in 1976, they were really simple flyers, you know, black and white at the time. And at the moment, that was fine. And then it just kept growing and growing into a quarterly magazine, you know, more of a magazine, something where you really. You could feel the quality. Again, it goes back to like we were talking in the box and everything. It's so hard. I mean, even with today and web-based businesses and so much coming over the web, so many people want to have something in their hands, the feel and the look. And we always felt that it was important to show all the details, that, you know, to exhibit all the different variations that we were offering. You know, not only in the later days when we had the website as well, but that printed piece of material was a major part of our business, as well as the back cover of Railroad Model Craftsman. We were on the back cover there for probably 20 some years, and as well as Mainline Modeler, we held that position for many years as well, and then smaller positions in Model Railroader, but the changes, constantly changing. I remember, I mean, I did a lot of those ads as a kid. I mean, as a young high school and college kid, that was kind of my job. So, you know, the quirky ones, when they were kind of older, the box was kind of tilted a little bit on 45-degree angle and different use of the logo. It's probably not the best way to do things, but it was a little bit of my influence. Sure. And then the catalogs. It was a great thing, but it was extremely time consuming. Just as you guys know, with the show, with your website, with all the images you have to shoot, and all the work that you have to do. Same thing with the catalog. It was like 24 to 36 pages sometimes, and all that content, building it in, getting all the pictures together. At the time, that was before the internet. When a lot of this stuff was done, Dad would be calling all the different photographers and Paul Withers and a number of other folks that were contributors to that for images for our projects and for the catalog. It became something that when we didn't do it, or have it out at the moment that somebody thought that, we're at that next quarter, it's time to get it out. People are calling, where's the next catalog? Where's, when's this going to happen? Yeah. But on the same note, is we spent all that time, building the catalog over 90 days, and then we get it out. And then the next question wasn't, oh, we'd love to reserve this, this, and this. It's, when's the next one coming out? Or what's next? And it's like, take care of this catalog, please.
Yep. Insatiable desire for information. It's kind of neat, Brian. I think as we look back one day and kind of already on the different eras of brass, you have PFM, they were the juggernaut, they had great catalogs, they had those back page ads. Then you had Overland, I think. They were the next big juggernaut. They had the catalogs, those back page ads, and of course the volume of models. So definitely you can be proud to be part of a great company there.
Absolutely. Hey,
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I wanted to tell you too, we recently had, speaking of, we talked a little bit about the rise in value. We recently sold one of those Union Pacific Heritage SD70 ACE sets for $8,500, went fast. Wow. I love those. I think one thing a lot of folks don't realize, and I didn't, is your team at Overland teamed up with Union Pacific, and not only on the models, but you had a part in that the paint scheme on the prototypes as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, we went through. It all really started, unfortunately, on a really negative day for this country when my relationship from my generation, post my dad, in his involvement on 9/11. Myself and Andy Laurent that worked for us, and Jennifer Bennett that also worked for us. We departed Muncie on 9/11 to go to Omaha. We were out there to spend about a week measuring the business car fleet. We go out there every few months, and it just happened that we left on September 11 in the morning. We left before the bombings had occurred and everything, and we listened on the radio and watched at several places on the way out, pulled into some hotels, kind of unbelieving of what was going on, because we didn't have cell phones at the time like we do today that we could see everything. And we decided we're just going to press on. We're going to go. We want to keep doing business. And we had a commitment to be at Council Bluffs for that week to photograph and measure UP cars. And during that time, we had then met the lady that was in charge of licensing and everything. And she and I developed a really good relationship. And then that just kind of snowballed into a number of projects, including this heritage project. And we went out, and initially it was going to be on another brand of locomotives, not competitive to our brass line. I'm talking about another brand of real locomotives, was what they're going to be on. They ended up being on the SD70 ACE, which really turned out to be beautiful locomotives. It was a really neat canvas to work all this artwork on. And myself with Union Pacific and Brenda Mainwaring, and then a guy by the name of Marty Amsler with Bailey Lowerman in Omaha, and then Mike Iden with Union Pacific and his protege on the mechanical side with Mike Brzezinski. All of us were really kind of the group behind them, and we tossed around all kinds of artwork and ideas and things. So once it finally got finalized, then the guys at Bailey Lowerman would present it. and then we moved the information over to Ajin, and they made the CAD drawings with the artwork on it, and then sent it back. And the guys at UP reviewed it, and the guys at Bailey Lowerman, we made any changes, and then I colorized all of the drawings, and then called out all the decals and placement for everything, and then sent that package up to Wisconsin Southern, where all the locomotives were painted. And during that project, that took an amazingly long time for me, because I was doing the work in AutoCAD and for the paint, not in maybe Illustrator that might be used today.
Yeah.
And might have been a lot quicker, but I was hamstrung with my own lack of technology at the time. So, but we made the drawings, then presented. Then all those drawings, every once in a while, I've got some pictures of where the drawings are sitting up, masking tape to the side of the locomotives or on the wall, so that the guys can reference the positions. It was really cool. The neat thing, the even neater to just be involved from the base and up, was to have that ability to go up to Horicon, where the Wisconsin Southern guys did all the paint work while they were being painted, and to literally hold the hand along with Mike Iden and Greg Petrozinski at UP. We just really walked it through, and to have the ability to put on a few decals and to kind of talk about, nudge it this way or nudge it that, and it was really cool for all those locomotives. I was making trips up there with each one of them, including the Bush locomotive as well. So, well,
mentioning that, Brian, by the way, the Heritage, those are just beautiful pieces. But you talked about the designing there of the George Bush 4141. That's correct, also, that you had a hand in that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you mentioned also even a little different, the Olympic trains, right?
Right. The Olympic trains, that was that one really, the Olympics are what got us started, I think, into the whole heritage program in our relationship, because the Olympics, that all was really discussed heavily with Brenda right about the time of 9/11, when we went out for that trip to photograph those cars. And Brenda brought up the idea of the Olympic torch relay train, and then that's when it all started with me of saying, all right, what do we have to do to get involved? And that timeline was really, really narrow, because we had to involve Chevrolet, General Motors with Chevrolet, and then Coca-Cola, and the Olympic Committee and Union Pacific. It was a crazy licensing degree. It was there was no money made. It was all a great opportunity just to do it. The money that's made are off of people that bought the model and have resold it and been able to sell the sets and the locomotives and things.
Well, thank you.
What's that?
I said thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So, but it was one of those where a lot of the projects that we've done that were licensed based were really not money makers, but they were symbolic of the quality and the things that we wanted to do more than a big profit center for us.
Mm-hmm. And I think it worked, because we see that how desirable they still are. So nice job. Thanks for sharing those stories. Also, when we interviewed you for the Brass Train Guidebook, you talked a little bit about a display of brass models you did for the George Bush Presidential Library. And I think you told me you had the chance to meet President George Bush Sr. and Barbara Bush. Can you tell us a little bit what they thought of that exhibit?
Yeah, it was really neat. I took our Chevy Avalanche and a 16-foot trailer full of brass down, and we had probably, I think, about 400 or 500 pieces that were brought from my dad's collection, from our current inventory, and then from a few other parties that had lent us models for this display. So it wasn't just Overland models, it was some Challenger models, it was some Railway Classics products, and all kinds of things, because what we wanted to do was to show railroading to all the people that were coming through the museum and see it in all different eras, steam, passenger, electrics, and super streamlined and modern diesels and things. So it was, we had this whole gallery wall section that was all behind plexiglass, and they had all these tables set up, and then down through the middle, they had kind of pyramid type stacks that we could put long passenger trains on, and then cover them up. And then as I was there, they put signs up with each one of them to say what the train was or what the locomotive was, to give give folks that were viewing it some understanding of a little bit of history behind it. And so we got all that set up. And then Missy had flown into Houston just before the event was about to go public. I went and got her. I wanted to bring her back to College Station that afternoon, and it was just dumb luck that I looked over, and coming down the hallway, I said, Mr. and Mrs. Bush, the president and his wife are here.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of giddy at the moment, and it was one of the neatest things I've ever had, because they were just as real as just the three of us talking here. It was there was nothing, no uppity feelings. There was just it was a no makeup, hair down type meeting. They had one of the dogs with them, and walking through the museum. And they were just tickled to see it. And I remember Barbara was talking to us and saying, "Oh, I remember George when he was in the military, and we rode this train out to meet him, and to catch up during maybe some time at home. And I rode on this with this person, and these girls, and it was really neat. It was really heartwarming." Mm-hmm. And I was exhausted because I traveled down there by myself and set most of the stuff up by myself. And just exhausted, but I was so excited for people to see it, and then to know that they were really the first ones to kind of do a casual walkthrough, and that Missy was there to kind of see all that come together. It was a cool opportunity.
Yeah, very cool. I know there's ups and downs in this business, Brian, especially the importing business, but it's kind of neat some of the people we get to meet and the stories we have. So thanks for sharing some of those with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we look forward, Brian, to having you back on the show again in the future. So thanks so much for joining us today. And by the way, we're going to send both you and Missy a mug out in the mail, all right?
Which are also built to inspire. Thanks, Brian.
Take care, my friend. All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
I really have enjoyed being a participant and a viewer of Monday Morning Express. I've learned a tremendous amount about our industry. I think you guys have done a great job of conveying the importance of getting reservations in so that we, the importers, have clarity as early as possible on the feasibility of projects, and we can know that we should keep going. I've just learned a tremendous amount. I enjoyed the segment last week or 2 weeks ago now where you shared the letter, Dan, and way back when PFM was talking about this matter of the reservations. I think your slide you showed on the convergence of the exchange rates and the increasing labor costs was fantastic. And we should let viewers know that the very same phenomenon is occurring right now and has been for the last couple of years and will probably continue. So we have a march of upward movement in the Korean labor rates. The difference this time, though, is that the exchange rate fluctuates all over the place as opposed to maintaining a direction for a long period of time. So those things pose challenges. And you heard Seho mention some of the challenges that he has, but one of them that he didn't talk about very much is that it's harder than ever now to get people who actually want to do this work. And so there's the general inflation in labor rates, and then he's competing for talent with a whole bunch of other employment opportunities in Korea. So I just think that Monday Morning Express is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to season 2.
Congratulations, Dan and Roland, for your first year of Morning Express. And I want to thank you for the only free item I've ever gotten from you guys was my mug, but it's one of 50, special collector's edition, and it's going on eBay tonight. So all of the followers of Monday Morning Express, if you want one of 50 mug, you're going to be able to get it.
Dan, I think it's safe to say that this was a great episode. I know there's a few things we want to go over with our viewers as to what to expect for Season 2. First of all, we need to talk about the contest that we mentioned last week.
Yeah, so here's what we want to see from you. We want to see a video about your collection and why you love brass model trains. It can be anywhere from a minute to 3 minutes long. You can show your collection, your layout, anything to do with why you love brass trains. So put something together for us.
Yeah, and try to get us as high of a resolution as you can. Although even the newer iPhones, for example, take great video. So don't be afraid to try your hands at this. And of course, Dan, tell them what they're going to win.
Well, anyone who sends in a video and we use it will get our yet-to-be-unveiled Season 2 Monday Morning Express coffee mug, which will be a completely new design. I guess that makes these collector's items.
Absolutely.
But here's what else. Whoever we choose as our grand prize winner, we're going to give you a VIP pass to the Brass Expo 2017 in Chicago, and we are going to purchase airfare for you and up to one additional guest from any major airport in the continental U.S.
I hope I win.
Me too.
Not only will you have access to much of the Brass Expo as a VIP, but we will make sure you get a little extra one-on-one time with your favorite attending importer.
Yeah, it's going to be great. You'll be very happy you win if you do. Now, we have a number of new features planned already for the next season. Roland, tell them about one of those special features.
Yeah, we're actually excited to announce that we're going to be doing some auctions for very special items from time to time during our future episodes.
Yeah, and I know you're going to think of hard-to-find models. It could include that. But also, if we come across something unique related to the history of brass, maybe one-of-a-kind things, we're going to auction some of those off as well.
And of course, with some of these items, we know we get complaints. Individuals have them in their want list online at brasstrains.com. We go to list them, Dan, and so many people have them in their want list. By the time they get that email, the item's already sold. So we feel that this is going to be really a good venue for this.
In addition, during our Season 2 opener, I will finally show you what is behind the secret door in my office that we showed you back in Season 1, Episode 6. And that involves letting you know about my secret obsession.
Oh boy.
Hey, it has something to do with trains.
Not the kind of trains we sell.
Oh, come on, it'll be fun, but you're going to have to wait and see.
We also did want to mention that although we're not resuming MME officially until the last week of August, we do plan to bring you the occasional special edition if there's important news we need to share with you. So be sure that you're signed up for this. We're sending out that survey. You can do it that way by giving us your email address. Of course, you can also email us at mme@brasstrains.com, and we'll make sure to get you on there.
And remember, filling out that survey is another chance to win. We're going to give away to a random entry. We're going to give away another edition of a special book, our Contributors Edition. We are actually running out of those, so it's going to be a nice special treat for a collector out there. So again, thank you all for viewing. We're very appreciative. And as we close, we hope these clips of Season 1 make it so you can't wait for Season 2. We're supposed to just be looking at the camera?
Yeah.
you doing? Oh, by the way, I got this coffee cup I got from the store in Pasadena.
I got my Union Pacific one. That's what I've got so far.
better than Jimmy's.
It's a nice mug you got there, Jimmy.
See my mug?
Yeah, that's good.
I've been using my alien head mug with UFO coaster.
Look at that.
Oh, very nice. Now we heard.
It should say number 1 on there, but you know.
Oh, you.
Nice mug.